Hi, welcome to Two Tired Teachers.
We are coming at you from the South Unit of Theodore Roosevelt National Park. And we are going to have videos about the Cottonwood Campground here. We're also heading up to the North Unit, and we'll have a video about the North Unit and the camping there. But I gotta be honest with you, Mylena, when we came here, I really had no idea what there was gonna be to see or do.
One of the things I have loved about Theodore Roosevelt National Park is that it's not nearly as crowded as Glacier or Yellowstone or even Tetons.
Yeah, it is. It's been awesome, and I gotta tell you, one of the things I have loved has been the wildlife.
Yes.
And of the wildlife, my very favorite has been the wild horses. We did meet a lady in town, not a ranger, not anything like that, who said that they're talking about trying to move the horses, but for right now they're here, and it's pretty awesome and amazing.
And another thing I've liked as far as wildlife are the little prairie dogs.
Yeah, and we've seen, they've got a lot of really healthy colonies here. There are a lot of colonies here, and as you would expect with prairie dogs, bison. We have seen not huge herds, but we have seen a number of bison while we've been here. Last night as we were driving around, we saw some deer, and then several times we have seen wild turkey.
Yes.
And so that has been a lot of fun, and it's not stopping traffic for miles and miles to see this wildlife. Another thing, we want to mention that the Visitor Center is a place you want to start.
Yes.
They can give you some really good information.
And they have a movie about the park. It's about 25 minutes, I think.
But they have specific trail maps. Mylena went and said, okay, what do we need to be sure that we see while we're in the South Unit? And the girl pointed out a number of things. And then there was one where she said, if you're going on this, here, take this trail map and either leave it at the trailhead or bring it back here. And so as I was finishing up the trail, I saw a lady who didn't have one and passed it on and told her, when you finish, put it in the trailhead or take it back to the Visitor Center. But they can help you with that. And then
we saw Roosevelt's cabin that's right there in back of the South Visitor Center.
Yeah, they've moved it there.
And it had quotes from Roosevelt. You could see it all really well because you cannot walk completely through it and touch all his things, but they have it glassed off ceiling floor where you can see a lot. And I love the little quotes by him. He said something about, I don't know an American who doesn't love to rock and rocking chair.
It was really neat, and I'm glad they'd moved that cabin there.
Yes.
I believe it used to be out at the Elkhorn Unit, which is one that's not nearly as accessible. And so it's there. I strongly encourage you, if you're there at the Visitor Center, definitely go take a look. It is, it's a piece of history just sitting right there.
And if you're there, count the beams in the right-hand corner when you're standing in front of it. The cross beams. Count up 3 and you'll see a cross in the end of it.
And that was supposedly put there by Roosevelt and maybe some of his buddies.
They had shot, there were supposed to be
shell casings in
shell
there.
casings.
But that was really neat, and there is a scenic drive, and part of it is closed right now, so, but it is what it is. You do what you can while you're there. But fortunately, because Mylena had asked, what do we need to see, we got down to the end, and I said, that girl said the old east entrance is here.
We are at the east entrance of Theodore Roosevelt National Park.
The old, abandoned east entrance. There is a little pull-off you can park, and it's 4/10 of a mile each way, so just under a mile hiking out here. And the residents as you may be able to hear, are prairie dogs. And folks, you walk through, the whole trail basically is through this huge prairie dog colony. And it's kind of neat to see them warning each other that we're coming.
As you come, they'll pop up and start chirping.
To let the others know, hey, strangers are walking through here. But this is so cool. I mean, stuff that the Park Service builds, they build it to last.
Yes.
And we thought when we were at the visitor center, Mylena asked the ranger what we should see while we're here, and this was one of the things she had circled.
But it's not on a trail map.
No, it's not. It's on the main map, but we hoped that when we got out here that they would have some information about what years this entrance was in use.
Because it looks a lot like the CCC may have helped build some of this.
I'm sure they probably did. But this is so cool. I mean, you can still envision how the old cars drove through and
Sharon was smart. A ranger pulled in just as we started up the trail, and she went down, waved him down, and asked, "Is this trail where the east entrance is?" And he told her, "Yeah."
Is this the trail, and is there a little building or something? He said, "Oh yeah, you might be able to see it from here." If we'd known what we were looking for, we might have. But anyway, it is a neat place to come, and I am so glad we took the time to walk out here, and it is basically flat.
Yes.
Once again, if it's been raining, I wouldn't suggest it. We can see where bison have sunk in several inches whenever the ground's been wet, and they have huge hoofs. But it's perfectly dry today, and so great day to get out and explore the area. Okay, and as we were getting ready, we stopped just to get a sip of water before we started back, and all of a sudden, there are just 4 of the wild mustangs that came through. One is a young, it's a foal.
Yes.
I'm not sure when the age difference is between foal and colt, but it was younger, definitely. But just so cool. And folks, we're the only people out here. This is so cool.
It's wonderfully cool, and we've seen so much.
Okay, I've just finished the Coal Vein Trail.
And she did that one by herself because what I'd read the description said steep, railless stairs, and I don't do that.
And you turn down a gravel road. It's a good gravel road for a mile, and you get to the trailhead. And take a picture of the trail map while you're there, because it does split, and then there are some little offshoots you can go and do, and so it's always a good policy to do that. But what I really recommend is at the visitor center, they have trail guides that they will loan you. All they ask is that you either leave it here, there's a little place to leave it here, or to drop it back there. And it has 16 points to see. Some of them were very easy and plain. The caprock, I couldn't find it. It may have fallen over. I don't know. But when I was around at there's 16 things when I was around at about 14, I encountered someone on the trail who didn't have one, so I gave them mine. And that brings up the other point. When you get to the first split, go left. And it's interesting, a lot of different terrain, but I will say if you've had rain recently, I saw a lot of footprints that had sunk in about a foot or so. It hadn't rained here recently, so I didn't encounter that, but it was a neat little trail. It was 0.8 of a mile, I think is what it says, something like that. And you do have some steps and stuff, but once again, the interpretive guide really helped out. And so if you're here and you have a little time, feel like taking a little hike where you do, go up and down some steps and uneven steps, basically rails, just logs across, then you do encounter some that are just steps, but then there are others that are, other kind of stuff. But it's a neat little trail and worth your time. The scenic drive is awesome and amazing, and the scenery is the stridations in the Badlands.
Yes.
We honestly didn't know there were Badlands in North Dakota. We'd been to the Badlands in South Dakota, but these are a little bit different, and some different colors, and being here in the fall, just seeing the Badlands and then bright trees with fall foliage, it is just gorgeous. And that was one other thing we wanted to mention. If you are coming during the summer and you're going to do any of these hikes, carry lots of water and realize these are Badlands.
Yes.
You're not going to have shade. Carry hats, sunscreen, that kind of stuff. Here, the very end of September, I think this is the 28th maybe, it's been 72 or so. It's been very comfortable to get out and do this kind of stuff. But I think in June, July, August, it would be a bit warm out there. So you want to come ready for that. But this has been an awesome stop and so much more than I had expected it to be. And very glad we came. And we'll mention the entrance to the South Unit. If you look at a map of North Dakota, you see the park is north of the interstate. The entrance to the park is south of the interstate. And so do follow the GPS, do follow the signs. The road into the park crosses the interstate.
Yes.
But that was something just felt a little bit off to me because I hadn't actually seen where the entrance was. But this is a great park, like Mylena said, at least right now. Now, we say it's not as crowded. It's not. But the campground's been pretty full every night. But it is an awesome place to come and spend a day or more. We've been here 2.5 days, and we're not bored with it yet.
No.
So anyway, we hope you've enjoyed our look at Theodore Roosevelt National Park South Unit. Thanks for watching Two Tired Teachers.